I grew up with our next guest. Listened to his music nonstop as a kid. You're laughing. I can't even get it out.
Because I grew up with this next kid.
I listened to his music nonstop as a kid and still do as an adult. He's a rock and roll Hall of Famer, one of the greatest voices in the history of music.
I owe you money, Pete. Stop.
It's Steve Perry. It's so great to hear your voice, man. I'm so pumped to talk to you.
Thank you, Pete. It's nice talking to you, too.
I have a question for all of Chicago. Where the hell have you been? We've missed you.
Oh, gosh, I feel like I've been to another planet and back, which was just basically returning to my old life in my hometown when I left the group. I had to kind of go back home and get regrounded and eat ice cream in the old ice cream parlor and just see old friends and grab a Harley Davidson and drive it out in the country and just reconnect.
We all have a story. We all have problems. No one really knows what happens behind the scenes or when the curtain closes. But let me say this. I know your story. And I am so sorry for your loss. Yes, Steve, I know what happened with Dr. Kelly Nash. You fell in love and you lost her stage 4 breast cancer.
Yeah. That's so sweet that you call her Dr. Kelly Nash, because she worked so hard to get her PhD psychology doctorate. I mean, she really worked hard at that. When I met her, she already had a business going, and she had 3 years of fighting and struggling with breast cancer, but you'd never know it. She looked amazing, and she was the most soulful girl I'd ever met in my whole life. She was stunning, and we just connected, and we were inseparable. We stayed that way for about a year and a half. And then I lost her, and she lost her battle with it. So about 2 to 2.5 years, I'd say at least, of grieving with the professional I was involved in to try to get through that. And then just kind of revisiting the whole arc of years from the days back when I was touring in Chicago to when I left, to meeting her, to losing her, and where am I and what matters. And one of the things that happened was I remember telling someone, the professional, in fact, I told him, I said, well, Kelly and I used to give each other a smooch good night, turn the lights off, and my favorite time was we would either talk one to sleep or the other to sleep, and one would listen, and one night she said, I need to ask you something. I said, what's that? She said, I need to ask you to make me a promise. And I said, well, what's that? Because we had some deep conversations, obviously, about a lot of things, and I knew this was potentially another one. And she said, I need to have you make me a promise that if something was to ever happen to me, that you would not go into isolation, for I feel it would make this all for naught. And I mean, I sat in that statement, and I realized that what she was really saying is that she was looking at the arc of her life, getting sick, meeting me, us being together, and possibly not being together. And what does it mean? It's got to mean something,
right?
It's got to have purpose. And so she was asking me to not return into isolation. Now, by isolation, I mean, look, I was still going to dinner with her. We were all going places. We were on vacations. We'd visit friends. We would go to the fair in the summertime. We were traveling. We're doing what people do.
I know,
movies.
Steve.
I wasn't isolated like that.
I know, but you're Steve Perry. You're a rock star. You vanished from my life.
That is, I had really let that go.
Well, when you left almost 25 years ago, you said you lost your love for music. I mean, I remember that line, and I thought to myself, here's a guy, I grew up listening to music nonstop, listening to the radio, listening to you on those Journey records, and you lost your love for music.
Well, can you imagine, for me, who discovered music at the age 5, 6 years old, when I was listening to the radio and starting to buy records at about 8 or 10 years old, and just when my parents got the divorce, I checked into the landscape of the music coming out of my 45s. I lived in there, and I wanted to know why it made me feel that way. And I started just walking around sonically in my head. Why is the echo on the voice sound that way? Why are the drum pockets so amazing? What is that melody? What is he saying? That. I mean, I remember one time I was listening to the Drifters, and I thought, wait a minute, did he just say you could almost taste the hot dogs and French fries they sell under the boardwalk? I'm thinking, wow, not the greatest lyric I've ever heard. Then it dawned on me, it's how he's saying it.
Yeah.
You can almost taste the hot dogs, French fries they sell. I'm going, oh my God. So it's not exactly what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. So now I'm in a new place. Now I'm learning about that. So here I am, music saving my life, and I move into joining Journey, and I bring all my passion for it. And at the end of just being burnt out, Pete, I mean, we toured so hard. We must have played Chicago and Rosemont Horizon so many times.
Oh,
We played Soldiers Field in front of the Stones.
Yep.
And by the way, we kind of killed them. But anyway, we did scare them a little bit because they didn't come on for 3 hours. But that's another story, Pete. Anyway, but it was a passion, you know, and to lose that passion for music because I was so burnt out and not connecting with that feeling scared the hell out of me. So I knew I couldn't keep doing this and keep pulling from an empty feeling. I had to just stop, and so I did.
We're talking with Steve Perry. The first single from the album Trace is No Erasing. As soon as it came out, I posted it on Facebook. I had thousands of responses. People went crazy because they just wanted to hear your voice. Then you look at the lyrics and you talk about making out in the back seat during the song. And I am so glad we had this chance to talk because I wanted to thank you because back in high school, I was in Karen Cicerelli's basement making out with
Cicerelli's basement. I love it. Keep going.
Making out with my high school sweetheart, Christine Stahl, to Faithfully off Journey's Frontiers album. So thank you.
Yeah, I get it. And where's Karen today, Pete?
She's still in Peoria, married to her husband, DJ. She's got a beautiful family, and, you know,
You know what, Pete, you were very busy, I can tell.
But my point is, Steve, do you have any idea the impact of your voice has on all of us? Do you know that?
No, wow, that's... I can only tell you that I can tell you what the impact on me Sam Cooke made. I can tell you what the impact on me Benny King made. I can tell you what the impact Levi Stubbs made on me. I can tell you what the impact of so many, like Aretha Franklin, her voice made on me. So if you're telling me that I do that for other people, it's hard for me to imagine because I know it sounds funny, but I still feel like I'm a kid from Hanford, California in a lot of ways. And I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with my own voice, so I'm not that impressed, you know? Well, I got to work hard to be impressed with stuff emotionally that I come up with.
There's thousands of people listening right now thinking, we just want to thank Steve Perry for everything you did in Journey. And No Erasing, I love the first line because, knowing your songwriting, I know it's been a long time coming since I saw your face. That's the first line that we've heard from you in almost 25 years. I love that.
I know.
Yes.
It wasn't some brilliant thing. It was just something that just shook out of the sky and just happened. And I trusted it because so much of this stuff was written in the confidence of my safety in my computer and me and a hard drive. I allowed myself the opportunity to do that, and if I didn't like it, I wasn't signed to anybody. I had no contracts, no obligations. I was totally free. So I was the only one who was ever going to hear it. And that particular song was written by a gentleman by the name of David Spring. So he was sitting there, but he didn't know that if I didn't like it, I'm going to delete it, and it's going to be burnt forever because that's the only hard drive I had those songs on. So it gave me a bit of a freedom to suck, I guess. If I don't like it, I'll burn it. I'll get rid of it. But I had to have that freedom to stick myself back out there again. And that stuff just happened, thank God.
But you knew in the back of your mind that you wanted to keep Kelly's spirit alive and write this music. That was your destiny.
I made a promise that I would not go back into isolation, and she was pretty clear that it was about making music again. Pretty clear.
If you ever get depressed or want to go back into isolation, I'm going to give you my phone number.
Okay.
And you just text me, you call me, I will talk you down. Okay? Let me tell you. Because we need Steve Perry.
Pete, Uncle Steve knows spring chicken. I don't think I have any more time left for isolation.
We're talking with Steve Perry. I want to ask you about being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Was that a tough decision to show up that night?
You know, it was certainly a decision that I was struggling with in the beginning. There was a little, I don't know if I should go. I'm really not the singer in the band. Arnell's a great singer, and they've had two singers before him, and then there was me. You know, I just felt that there's a bit of a disconnect for me to perform with them. For sure, I had no designs of doing that because I'm not in the band. I struggled with it for a while. Then I realized that there's so many people I just want to thank for giving me an opportunity. I came from Hanford, California,
right,
to get an opportunity to have a dream come true, which was to get in the music business and make records back then and tour with a band like Journey and perform in front of so many people. I just had so many people I needed to thank. It took an entire village to make it work, to be honest with you. And that's why I showed up.
Do you ever see yourself singing with Journey again?
You know, I really can only tell you that I've never been more happy rediscovering my passion for music right now. I mean, I was really concerned forever that it would never come back. And when I did walk away, Pete, I walked away with a conviction that if it never came back, I had to be okay with that because I'd already lived that dream and we couldn't have done it any better than anybody would have ever wanted to do it. Right. That we did it. So, you know, I really thought that was then, and I'm moving forward, and we'll see what happens as I walk into the abyss of the rest of my life. That's all I can tell you is I'm really pleased to have rediscovered the sincerity for music again.
You wrote the music, the album's out. Do we see a tour? When can I see you in Chicago?
You know, I would love to tell you when that would be. All I know is that right now we're trying to talk about the record. The record comes out October 5th, and it's available on cperry.com. I'm sort of a social media guy now, you know, Pete. And there's just so much going on. And so when we're all done with this, I think we're probably going to have those live discussions and see where I'm at with that.
Now you're talking. Before you go, I have to ask you about Don't Stop Believin', which has become an anthem of its own, that song. Now, the White Sox adopted that song in 2005.
They did. I was there.
Yes,
I was there.
You came to town for the World Series. Did you have to give your okay for that? The White Sox call you up? How did that work?
Well, I think it was Brzezinski, I think, right? The catcher, right?
AJ, yes.
AJ, yeah. He got a hold of me through their publicity guy for the White Sox, a sweet guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he got a hold of me through channels, and eventually I found out that was a real contact, and I returned the call, and they just wanted me to hang out with Creedy and him, and they were starting to win games because they were playing that song in the dugout before and after, and so that was the whole thing, you know, and so one thing led to another, and they wanted me to be there, and I'll never forget, I was at the game in Chicago, and they were about to go to Houston to play some of the final playoffs of the World Series, and I was sitting with Creedy back there, and AJ, and I said, well, guys, congratulations, and good luck in Houston. And Creedy says, well, where are you going? Well, I got to go back. I got to go back to L.A. and meet some friends. And
of course,
he says, dude, you got to go to Houston. And I went, oh, right, this is baseball. I said, well, I don't have tickets. He said, dude, tickets will not be a problem. I went, oh, right, I'm hanging out with you guys. Okay. So they got me tickets, and I flew to Houston and went to the games and watched them win.
Yes.
You know?
It's Chicago. You always have a guy here. Steve, I love you. Thank you. I can't wait to see you in concert when you come to Chicago. I
would love to see you, too. Say hi to everybody at WGN for me, please.
You're the best. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
It's Steve Perry, everybody.
Bye-bye.